Today we'll
Today
talk
we
about
will talk about the Georgian period in American architecture.
As you
As you read
read
in the textbook, widely used architectural labels such as Georgian and Federal are derived from historical periods, and they have in turn characterized very specific visual images.
no doubt
No doubt you will soon be able to visualize and cite examples of those styles yourselves too.
In any case,
That's why, say, Hampton Plantation in Towson, Maryland, was not built for the Georgians of England ruled by the American colonies between 1740 and 1775, but nevertheless, it is classified as Georgian. Well, the image runs ahead of reality, actually behind reality in this case, doesn't it?
Georgian
style refers to a style originating in England in the 1600s based on forms following the classical principles of design developed by Andrea Palladio during the Italian Renaissance.
In
In the mid-1600s, architects Indigo Jones and Crystal Ram began designing buildings using Palladio's design principles. This style became wildly popular in England, replacing the medieval. The Georgian period in American architecture began about the 1700s with the construction of the Warren Building at the College of William and Mary. It was named after its architect.
Although
old architectural history books extended this period in American architecture until 1830, the end of the reign of George IV, most scholars now agree that in America, the style generally ran its course by the 1780s. The 8-year hiatus of construction during the Revolutionary War essentially ended the Georgian period of architecture in its original form. Later, it would be renewed in revival styles. Thus, this is one of the longest-lived architectural styles in America.
Well,
Many of the founders of the nation lived in handsome, capacious buildings along the eastern seaboard, which were built in this style on the site of historical events of the Revolutionary War that we observe, which were built in this style too. Another noteworthy thing about this style is that while earlier styles were disseminated among apprentice system, Georgian architectural spread from builders through the new medium into inexpensive engraving as well. Leone is the first English publication of Palladio's work between 1716 and 1720, and a host of other handbooks from England all influenced American building art and increased the academic formal quality of the Georgian style. And eventually, from the mid-18th century, Georgian styles were assimilated into an architectural powers, so that they became part and parcel of the training of every carpenter and person, from Edinburgh to Maryland. So Georgian design reached the American colonies in the form of architectural manuals and pattern books by the mid-1700s, when New England was enjoying its building boom. Wealth was accumulating along with the eastern seaboard. Wealthy captains, merchants, shipyard owners, and mill owners were developing new social classes. New standards of sophistication and elegance were being established. In the colonies, style now mattered. Many of those emerged in wealthy classes visited England and looked to England for present and fashion and taste, and those they found. They were eager to have the new Georgian style home that displayed status, wealth, and taste. So Georgian style was all over the place, from Maine to Virginia in the British colonies. Just as Palladio in the 16th century had really adopted Roman classical forms, and Wren and his followers did heavily emulate the works of this Italian architect, so did American builders borrow the English architectural style wholesale, and with new concept of living, the multiplication rooms led to increase of specialization rooms into several rooms for sleeping, cooking, dining, and so forth. comfort, convenience, and privacy were beginning to play a role in the colony's lifestyle.
as they increased their wealth.
After the revolution, Georgian conventions were slowly abandoned, as a number of revival styles, such as the Gothic revival, enlarged the design repertoires. Another reason for this was its association with the colonial regime. Curiously, though, Pennsylvania continued building Georgian houses until the 1860s, the time of the Civil War, while New England abandoned the Georgian style for the most part before 1800.
By the way,
In Canada, Georgian architecture was embraced as a sign of Canadian loyalty to Britain, and the style was dominant for most of the first half of the 19th century. Okay, let's look at the distinctive features of the style. Georgian architecture is characterized by its sense of proportion and balance. Simple mathematical ratios are used to determine, for example, the height of the window, a window in relation to or the shape of the room. Regular was a term of approval because it embraced symmetry and adherent classical rules. On the other hand, the lack of symmetry was felt to be a fatal flaw. Regularity of house fronts along a street was a desirable feature of the Georgian town planning. Georgian design usually include one or more order of architecture and other elements derived from ancient Rome or Greece.
What are
orders? Yes.
Orders
are a
formalized
formalized system of proportions, and Ionic, Doric, and Corinthian are the major Greek classical orders. Yep.
Now
look at page 79. You can see these defining features of Georgian architecture. Renaissance-inspired rigid classical symmetry, axial entrances, geometrical proportions, and sash windows in which the framing the sash hold pencil glass. You see what I mean? As you may also notice, the British Georgian building has a heft roof sloping down on all four sides, and American one sideways roof. See? Now look at the drawing on page 81 and look for the features of the most dominant influence in Georgian architecture, namely Palladian. The features of Palladian design were especially prevalent in the mid-Georgian period. Look at those Virginia governors and Drayton Hall near Charleston, South Carolina. Do you spot the Palladian influence? These buildings are the epitome, and you can distinguish her. The large classical column and the two-story porch, which is a large porch, usually is a roof that is supported by those classical columns. And of course, even now, we often hear the term the Palladian window, a tall window with flanking two small rectangles and the top, many buildings, most often on the second story directly above the front entrance from all the periods since then. After almost a century reviving European styles, late 19th century American architects began to look to their own national paths for appropriate model in their creation. Architects and builders revived and modified the style to accommodate the more modern lifestyle and taste of the new century. That is to say, they created their colonial revival style from the Georgian style. In their eagerness to ensure that the design heritage would be recognized, the architects often exaggerated their case. They also had to find a way to apply 18th century details to buildings that were decided to be 19th century inside and function, such as railroad stations and public schools. To accomplish these elements of the Georgian style were emphasized in various ways by changes of scale, by combinations of features used in a way unknown to the 18th century, or simply by repetition. It is such emphasis that helps to distinguish the parent from the child. So, even though we now have an example of these Georgian revival homes and buildings to consider, you will be able to spot the original from the revival with enough time and practice.
Can we still find
We still find a new building of this style? Certainly, although the Georgian revival enjoyed its greatest popularity and most vigorous expression in the last decades of the 19th century and the first of the 20th, it is still pretty much a part of our architectural shape, where unfortunately, however, most modern examples suggest that the great revival of the Georgian style is a symptom